Yeah!
Live! Was that the jankiest thing you ever saw or what?
Do you realize it was all backwards to them, right?
Are you serious? I threw together a little countdown timer with a picture of the Sheltowee logo in like 20 minutes before I rushed down here, and yeah, I knew it'd probably turn out like crap, but what do you do?
It was worse than crap.
Well, welcome to another live stream, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I got my buddy the Colonel over here.
Woohoo!
And this is my cousin, the Harold.
Howdy.
Harry or the Harold? What do you
Harry.
Harry, okay. So we grew up together. He lives right up the hill here, 100 yards away. And you know, he watched me grow up doing all these crazy running obstacle courses and stuff with the neighborhood kids. And there's a swim pond right behind us, and a cottage, and a diving board, and a raft. I mean, we have so many childhood memories down here, and I couldn't help myself from asking him to come down here and join us for this live stream. So he follows me on YouTube as well and watches me do all these crazy things. So thought it'd be cool to have him be a part of this.
Well, thank you for asking me to come.
Oh yeah, you bet. So
You weren't doing nothing else tonight, were you?
No.
all right, so the whole point of tonight is to let you guys drive the Q&A. So if there's questions coming in right off the bat, let's go ahead and jump into those. I do have some notes of some things I would like to cover when it kind of gets slow, but if we got any questions coming in or comments that we can address right now, let's shoot.
Well, here's a statement.
A statement.
David T says he doesn't look very hairy.
Oh, he was.
I just shaved.
You know what? That reminds me of something. We need to talk about how we all got our names here.
Oh, okay.
How did you get the name Harry?
When I was a little kid, his dad used to call me Harold, and I don't know why he called me Harold, but he called me Harold. So it transformed into Harry. So to all the cousins, I'm Harry.
Okay. The Harry.
The Harry.
The Harry.
And they call me the Miller because I think it was because of an Amish beard I grew one year.
Yes.
About 6 years ago. I let it grow for like 9 months, and my hair. I mean, I was out of control.
It was. It was
was
very
beastly.
hippie, hobo-ish.
And yeah, there's Amish around us. You know, the Millers, the Yoders, the Slayballs, you know, you name it.
So the Miller just stuck.
Yeah, so yep, I'm the Miller, and this is the Colonel.
The Colonel.
We kind of talked about that in the past a little bit. You can refresh everybody.
Yeah, on the Edisto video, Edisto River, we discovered that I was the Colonel after Colonel Sanders because in 4-H and FFA, I raised and showed chickens at our county fair. So all my friends, probably making fun of me at the time, called me Colonel Sanders, and then it got shortened to the Colonel, and I kind of liked it. I've always wanted a nickname, and it kind of stuck, and it became a positive thing versus a negative thing.
Yeah.
So
Do you spell it with a C or a K?
it's C-O-L-O-N-E-L. So kind of like it's a colonel like in the military, but it was Colonel Sanders. It's not Colonel of Corn. So Colonel of Corn is the K Colonel.
Yeah.
I'm the C Colonel. So Colonel with a C.
Okay.
So yeah, but so right now, not a whole lot coming in. Got a question here from David T again. Do you ever have to bathroom on the move during FKT?
Well, I don't do it while I'm moving. Is that what he's asking?
I think so, yes.
I
while
haven't
you're moving.
perfected that art yet, that's for sure.
So you do practice, like here at home?
I have not practiced that, no. I have heard of people that try to pee while they're on the move because, yeah, you might think that sounds really silly, but it takes a lot of time out of your day to stop and pee and poop throughout the day. When you're out there for 18 to 20 hours a day, it adds up. I mean, when you're drinking and lots of fluids and maybe not sweating as much on a cooler day, I think I might have been stopping to pee every few miles. So, I mean, that adds up a lot. And if you're able to master that art of doing it on the move, man, you would save a lot of time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Nope, not me.
Do you practice your cat holes in your yard or anything like that?
I don't.
How'd you perfect that?
I've had plenty of practice over the years. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
This sounds interesting to me.
Okay.
Cap Country. Hey, Jason, when are you going to get a pack raft? Would love to see you doing a long hike and pack raft adventure. I think this came in before pack raft, that you kind of camp in it, float in it. It seems like a great way to die. But
You can fold it up into a backpack. It fits on your back.
Okay.
And you can carry that while you're hiking to another water crossing, and then you take your pack off and inflate your boat, throw the rest of your gear in there, float across, pack it back up.
Okay.
You can do like it's almost like the best of both worlds, kayaking and hiking.
Okay.
So,
all right.
You know, some people do it with bikes too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sounds pretty fun. I don't know. I
Okay.
don't have any plans to do anything like that right now, but yeah, I would definitely like to try that in the future.
And the next good one is, when is the next Colonel Wish kayak adventure? And we've actually talked about this 2 days ago at the end of the FKT. Possible southern float, November, December. You know, we're thinking maybe Alabama-ish if we can find a good river.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, we're gonna start looking around a little bit. I have a big RV camping trip with my wife coming up first, so
I'm not invited on that. I don't know why.
when I return from that, we'll see how late in December it is, and if we can find somewhere warm, somewhere halfway, you know, not across the country. I don't want to drive 15 hours like Pete Beck to find a river to float.
No, I mean,
maybe down to northern Alabama or Mississippi, or I would love to kayak in Florida during the winter.
Where the alligators are, right?
Yeah.
It's not fun unless there's something out there that can kill you.
Okay.
So that's what we're looking for. Did you have any equipment issues on the trail? Tom Eli asked.
Let's see. I'm just thinking through top to bottom real quick. No headlamp issues, no shirts, no shorts, no underwear and sock issues. Shoes, everything worked out great. You know, I had like 7 pairs of shoes, or 6, probably 15 pairs of socks. I was always in something comfortable and dry.
Nice.
Nothing. The only gear, I guess, if you call what's in the back of our truck gear, yeah, we did have one issue. So, okay, I'll tell you the story, and then I want to go to something else after that about my crew. So, I was using a pickup truck, an F-150. The tailgate has to be opened, and then I have one of those roll top covers on top, and then you roll it back so you can step up in there and get all my gear, food, whatever I need out there. They forgot to shut the tailgate once when they were shuttling a vehicle to another trailhead, and one of my crates, I had like 10 crates, like corn lugs that I picked sweet corn in, full of all my gear, clothes, and food. One of them slid out the back, never to be seen again. Luckily, it didn't have any critical gear like shoes that I would need, for example, but it had it had peanut butter and jelly, salt and pepper, ale, ginger ale, Coke, maple syrup, honey, and what had something else good in there. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, but all that stuff was gone.
How far into the trip did that happen?
It happened on like early day 2, I think. Yeah, pretty early on. Oh, all my Red Bull. I couldn't think of it. Yeah, I had a brand new pack of Red Bull in there. So yeah, all that stuff was gone. They went and replaced. I brought a bunch of petty cash with me for those guys to use on things that maybe I forgot to buy or ran out of, so they just went and replaced some of that stuff along the way. So no big deal. But that leads me into talk about my crew a little bit. Even though that was one little mistake, any of us could have made that. These guys were phenomenal. I've mentioned it a couple times on some of my live streams, maybe a little bit, but mostly in my outro on the Burnt Mill Bridge when I finished the trace. So you aren't going to see that until my actual YouTube videos are released. But these guys were just incredible. I mean, I could not have asked for a better crew. I knew Leonidas from last year. I'd never had met Chris. I had never met Jordan. I've only spoke to them on the phone and a Zoom call ahead of time, a week ahead of time before we started. So I didn't really know these guys. I didn't know what to expect, but man, they performed flawlessly. They're all in great shape. They were all able to run with me. They probably all ran multiple marathons throughout the week. Sometimes they ran a marathon in a day. So they did a great job pacing me. They always had my tent set up, always tore it down, moved all my gear. They would have my gear in my tent for me. They were just always in a good mood. They were kind, they were gracious, sacrificial. I would have to bark orders out at them to him sometimes, and Colonel's got a little funny joke about this. He thinks I was like bossing around and yelling orders. I had to be loud sometimes because they would set me up and they would think I was all ready to go, and maybe I was 95% good to go for the night. They would be off maybe 50 feet away setting up their stuff because they hadn't even started on their stuff yet, and they needed to get some sleep as well. I would see 2 or 3 things that I really needed. Like, they forgot body glide. I was like, doggone it, do I wait till morning or do I ask them for it now? I need a bottle of water and take some Tylenol PM. So I would yell at them, water, body glide, socks. They would run it on over. So I wasn't yelling at them because I was mad. It was just so they could hear me clearly.
No, I never said it was mad. It was demanding. So when I intercepted him at Leatherwood Ford, he was laying on a mat on a table, and they were probably, yeah, he's right, they were probably 40, 50 feet away. But he was like yelling in a very public place at Leatherwood Ford, socks! Socks now! The new ones! And I was so...
Low cut!
I almost took my socks off and just threw them at him. I was so freaked out and nervous. I was like, holy cow, what do I do? You know, I didn't know who he was yelling. He was obviously not yelling at me, but he was yelling at them, and I was like, wow, that's scary.
I will admit, in that one instance at Leatherwood Ford, I'm 13 miles out from the finish, I was feeling a sense of urgency. And I wasn't feeling the same sense of urgency from the other guys, maybe as much as I was. Even though I was doing well and they were doing well. I wanted that stop to be fast. We had way too many stops throughout the week that were 15, 20, 30 minutes because it takes a while to eat. And I didn't want to take a bowl of soup and pierogies or sandwiches. There's a lot of things I'm trying to gulp down and eat, and you can't take all that on the run. So then they have to pick up all your, containers that you're eating with. So I would stay at the truck and scarf that stuff down, and sometimes that would take a lot longer than we planned. So I was just trying to keep those aid stops as short as possible.
Right. So, Pete, River King Pete.
Yep.
How you doing, Pete?
Hey, buddy.
Did the electrolyte/foot pain issue resolve after you switched off the supplements?
Yes. So, man, I learned, this was a huge lesson I learned. For some reason, it never dawned on me that you could overeat or drink electrolytes, which is potassium, magnesium, and other things, and salts. And because I would always just keep pumping them down as much as I could tailwind or scratch or sword or whatever they have at these ultra races, I would drink as much as I could, and I would have them in my flask as well. And I started getting swelling and foot pain like on day 2, and I was like, what is going on? And it didn't dawn on me till probably day 4 that why I figured it out finally is because I ran out. I was on a 6-hour hike and I ran out of everything. All my electrolytes, like honey stingers, tailwind, everything was gone for almost 2 hours, and I was just drinking pure water. And then it like turned on a dime. It went from pain to completely gone, just instantly. And I instantly started running. If you guys, I explained this to my crew. Have you guys seen the movie The Incredibles? You know Mr. Incredible, the great big strong muscle man? You've probably never seen it. Okay,
it's a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He's on an island, and these robots are beating him up. And he cracks his back or something.
So you were beat up by robots?
Just listen to the story. He's getting torn apart by these robots because he has a kink in his back and he can't use his full strength. And then they start pulling on him, one on each end. They're going to pull him apart, and all of a sudden his back pops back into place. And he regains all his strength, and then he destroys all the robots.
Wow.
That was what I felt like when all those electrolytes were out of my body all of a sudden. I just instantly was able to run and got all my strength back and caught up with Leonidas and passed him. But then it continued to come back off and on because I had totally figured out that I had to eliminate all that. But we finally did, and apple cider became my new electrolyte drink of choice for the final 3 days. Water and apple cider and regular real food. No salt tablets, no tailwind, no honey stingers. Oh, I did take a honey stinger one more time, and it came back. So that's when I decided for good, no more of that.
Now, is that no more of that for that particular FKT, or no more of that period? Are you just
Oh,
off
on
those
an ultra
forever?
race, you're done in 6-7 hours.
Okay. Okay.
On a 50K. So yeah, you can take all the stuff you want. You need it if you're sweating a lot.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Are we missing some good questions here?
Well, we have an anonymous comment here. Anonymous person says that you yelled for popcorn last night from the couch also. So not just socks, you're yelling for popcorn also.
I wonder who that could be.
I don't know.
Man.
We better look into that a little bit.
Yeah, we'll have the, can you look into that back? Yes, okay, thank you.
I should have yelled butter too. It was a little dry.
Oh! Hashtag couch tonight. Let's see here. Nothing coming up.
Well, I'm going to finish talking about my crew before we move
go
on.
ahead. Yep.
I was talking about how good they were. They treated me right. They just did everything I needed them to do on the trail. And, even though we might have took a few wrong turns here and there, we all did that. And if I didn't have them leading the way, I would have took multiple wrong turns. Even though I had the track downloaded on my watch, and it would buzz if I took the wrong trail. You get off 50 feet off trail, it would vibrate. I just never used that because I have Gaia. I can just pull my phone out. But when you're out there in the middle of the deep, dark forest, down in some ravine or holler with 300-foot rock outcroppings all around you, and it's pitch black, and you see rabbit trails going off to the side, animal trails or whatever, it's like sometimes you have to pull your phone out. You don't know where the heck you're at. So anybody can walk off trail and not even realize it. So I was grateful to have those guys leading the charge. I could just put my head down, grit and bear the pain as much as I could and focus on what I was doing and run a fast walk.
Yeah, very nice. Okay. What you got for a favorite camp recipe? I guess.
Oh, my favorite food for like FKT food?
Yeah, I think that's what we're going for is FKT. Yeah.
It's got to be pierogies.
What is a pierogi? I've never heard of that.
A pierogi, it's like a little dough ravioli with like tasty mashed potatoes inside, cheesy mashed
So
potatoes.
I think that's what you were eating the night that I met you on that dirt road.
Yeah.
Is that something that is just?
I got them in an ultra race once.
They're not making them there; they're just heating them up.
Yeah, it was from Costco.
Okay.
Got a big pack of them from Costco. They just fried them up in a pan with butter. Got them a little brown on each side, and they're nice and hot, and a bowl of soup.
Bowl soup.
I had like 3 kinds of soup. That is my go-to food when I'm on something like this, when I need real food. Sometimes peanut butter and jelly. I had some other kinds of raviolis. You know, I had ham and cheese sandwich stuff. I don't even know if we ever made any. I had a massive list of food. I'm just scratching the surface of what it is. But my go-to was the soup and pierogies. I must have had that 8 or 10 times.
So 8 or 10 times, was there like anything like soup, soup now?
I don't know if I ever had to yell soup now.
Okay, pierogies are the Polish dumplings. Some people
Yeah,
said.
probably
Okay.
about the same thing. Probably, I don't know.
Huh, okay. Do you carry anything for self-defense?
I did not. I have a 380 in my console of my truck. I did carry that on my unsupported, but when I had 3 guys with me, I wasn't worried about that. To be honest with you, I'm not worried about anything on the trace. It never bothered me one time. Some people can't imagine hiking through the dark all night long alone. It doesn't bother me one bit. I enjoy it. You know, I might get a little shiver go through my body when I see these glowing eyes looking at me off to the right, you know, but it's usually just deer or some other possum or something like that. I did see a big obese coon
Obese
walking across the trail once, but I didn't see anything other than a couple deer.
Was it like putting
Turkey.
in
We did hear
insulin or
some
something?
turkey. Huh?
Turkey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a couple flocks of turkey that were up in the trees that flew off right when we got to them, and it was
really?
loud, very
Oh, yeah.
loud. It
Wow.
startled us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
While you're scrolling through that,
Okay.
I'm going to talk real quick about the final time. I ended up with finishing the trail in 6 days, 9 hours, and 32 minutes. I was really shooting for 5.5 days. That was my A goal. By day 2, when I started feeling that pain really setting in on my feet and I couldn't run much anymore, I knew I was probably going to not get that 5.5, and I started shooting for 5 days, 23 hours. You know, just wanted to slide under that 6-day mark. And then by 2 more days after that, I knew I wasn't going to do that, and I just wanted to throw a respectable time out there in the 6 days. So I'm pretty happy with my accomplishment, but there is definitely room to easily go sub 6. Any ultra runner that has a good crew and good weather could easily go sub 6 on that trail.
Wow.
I'm capable of going sub 6. I should have got sub 6 very easily. I ran less than 25% of that trail. So all I did was speed walk. So it becomes a time issue then. You know, can you walk for 20 to 21 hours? Can you get by on 1 or 2 hours of sleep? Which I did many nights. My sleep schedule started out like this for day 1 on. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, then back to 2 hours, and then I think another 1 hour. And that was my sleep. 13 hours the entire week.
13 hours. Wow.
About killed me.
Gee whiz. Yeah. So do you have a favorite section of the trace? If you was going to go back and hike any part of that for pleasure, what would you say is like, if somebody want to go just spend a weekend, what would be the best place to go?
Wow. I knew I was going to ask this question. I thought about it earlier. I definitely know some places not to go. That's easier.
Well,
You know, when I was hiking with Chris, I call him Simo, his trail name is Simo. We were going through a section, what mile would that have been? I think it was beyond Turkey Foot and S Tree, and there was a lot of gravel road, but the woods were just amazing. It would be a perfect place to take a Ranger or a Gator and do some off-road camping. It was just beautiful down through there. And there wasn't a lot of trail there though. And once you got off those gravel roads though, that's where we entered all the ATV and off-road trails. And it was horrific, man. Me and Chris were just complaining the whole time. We were walking around slop and mud. Even though it was the dry season and it wasn't muddy out anywhere else, that area is always muddy. It was horrible. Just trying to think of another great place. I mean, anywhere in Big South Fork is really beautiful. Man, I don't have to think about that. I'm sorry I can't give you a more definite answer, but if you want to reach out to me sometime, when I have more time to think about that, I can definitely help you out.
Kentucky Backpacker says the best parts are south of the 49er.
Yeah.
Is that
For the
agreeable?
most part,
Yeah.
yeah.
You concur?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I concur. Yeah, the stuff north of it, yeah, I didn't like it around Cave Run Lake. I mean, it's pretty around Clear Creek. This is my third time, I think, so second time through Clear Creek area, and I still haven't seen it in the daylight. Looks like a beautiful place in the dark.
Okay.
Painkillers. Man, I had to take a lot of painkillers, unfortunately. Day one was a breeze. I got 60 miles in, almost ran 3/4 of it, a slow run, felt great. But I was trying to take 200 milligram ibuprofen every 6 hours. So 600 milligrams every 6 hours. Sometimes I couldn't quite make it that long, or I would take maybe just 2 every 4 hours if I started feeling the pain. I was trying to alternate with Tylenol for the first couple days. Then I stopped doing that because I feel like the Tylenol wasn't doing anything. And I know the ibuprofen is going to help with inflammation. We didn't have any aspirin on hand or Aleve. So it was just basically those 2 things. It probably took too much. I probably should do a liver and a kidney cleanse. I hate taking all those things, but you know, it comes down to the wire the last couple of days. You can either take those or quit. So I decided to take them.
Yep.
Oh, there's no other questions, huh?
Nothing's really flashing
Okay.
up. No.
We already talked about the lost tub of food. Oh, I know something really weird that happened. I got it in my pocket. I gotta show you guys this. So I'm hiking along one day. I get out of bed, start hiking. I'm already a couple miles from the guys, and leaves will bunch up on your bottom of your trekking poles. And I use my feet to push off the leaves off the bottom of my trekking pole. And on my left pole, my foot's like hitting something hard. I was like, why are the leaves not coming off my trekking pole? And I look down, and there's a trekking pole basket on my pole. And I was like, why in the world would Leonidas find a basket down in my tote of goodies and put it on my trekking pole for me? Is he trying to help me out with the leaves? So I asked him, I took it off because it was driving me crazy. And I asked him about it when he got back, and he goes, I didn't put that on there. So I started looking at it a little bit closer, and I was like, this isn't my basket. This is some random thing that got stabbed on the trail. So my trekking
So
pole
you picked
actually
up
stabbed
somebody's-
this right down the center, and it went up into place on my trekking pole.
Wow. Really?
What are the chances?
So if you're out there watching this and can identify this, we'll send it to you. So if somebody beats this time, are you going to do it again?
No.
I mean, obviously,
No.
yes, he is.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, these guys, my wife even, I think my wife actually believes me this time. My goal was to get the trifecta, a trilogy of FKTs. Self-supported, that I did in 2019, unsupported in 2021, and now supported. I've fulfilled all 3 categories. I have nothing else to prove out there. Yeah, I probably could go back with better health and perfect weather and get 5 days, 20 hours, whatever. You know, I have no interest in that. I have a list a mile long of trails I want to go backpacking on, and rivers I want to go kayaking on, and states I want to go RV camping in. And I'll never be able to do all those things if I'm training my butt off around the clock getting ready for one of these things. That's the other thing. You don't just wake up and decide you're going to do an FKT. It takes 6 months to a year of training and preparation for this, and I'm done with it.
How were the Heidelberg dogs this time?
No dogs.
Nice.
No, there was dogs. None of them came out and bit us. The 2 that about got me on my unsupported, they were not there. Jordan, who was hiking with, no, Jordan wasn't with me on that section, but Leonidas was. But Jordan had went ahead in the truck and was looking for dogs, getting ready for them. And he said they weren't out. And we had a couple that came out and barked by the road. You know, a couple dozen throughout the whole trace, I'd say, but none of them came out.
Yes,
and
Pete.
scared us.
Yes, Pete. That's right. Sorry.
You got it. You got to elaborate.
Oh, so that sounds like a yes, but currently in denial. So I didn't want that to go away. So yes, Pete,
No.
you're right.
I'm not ruling out something small. Like I submitted a new route for the Michigan Triple Crown. It's 3 20-mile loops. I mean, I can do that in 16 hours or whatever. So I mean, I just train. I might run some ultra races too, but I have no desire to go back to do the Sheltowee.
Well, I mean, since we're having this recorded, and this will be on YouTube
Yeah.
forever.
That's
I mean,
right.
I'll just go ahead.
Mark
and,
my words.
Well, here's my prophecy. They're going to open the rugby extension. Somebody's going to come in and do it in 6 days. with the extra 14 miles, and he's gonna be like, nope, that just don't sit right with me. I've got to go back.
I have nothing else to prove. I don't need my name at the top of the list. My name is on the list. It doesn't have to be at the top of the list.
Ah, okay.
That's good enough.
Good enough. All right.
But I will go back and do that rugby extension over an overnight, and I might even take the Colonel and the Herald.
So a pleasure. You were
It's
actually
13 miles with an overnight. That's 6 miles a day.
you would actually do a pleasure hike.
Yep,
on
and
the
there's
Sheltowee.
breakfast at the end.
Absolutely.
diner.
All right. See you there.
We're there.
All right. Well, and we'll go live.
That'll be the next time I'm on the trace, and maybe the last time.
live.
Now,
at
I'll
rugby.
probably go back for something, but it will not be for an FKT.
Ah, okay.
What kind of time are we into here?
We are, well, it's 8:27 right now.
Okay. We're doing pretty good.
So what else you got?
All right, I got a great story. You got it? Do I need to answer any questions before I move on to the story?
Nothing right now.
Just a bunch of comments. How many people we got on here?
35-ish?
Okay. Not the same as our last one.
Well, there's 35 messages is what
Oh.
it says.
Oh, maybe that's all that means. I
Yeah.
thought it would say how many people are
Maybe
up
your phone says it, mine don't.
here. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
All right, so at the end of day 2, after the Heidelberg March, there was we were using the Gut Hook app, which is called Far Out now. And you can look ahead and see where campsites are, water sources, et cetera, et cetera. So Jordan knew of a place called the Dunaway House. I think his name's Mr. Dunaway, and he lets hikers camp on his property. So he drove ahead, excuse me, and asked Mr. Dunaway if we could camp there for the night. And he said, absolutely, let me get a fire started for you. So he proceeds to start a fire. I'm on this miserable Heidelberg March trying to finish it up, and that's when I'm having some excruciating foot pain. Leonidas and I are down to, Leonidas is fine. I'm like trying to hold him back and rein him in because I just cannot hardly move. I'm talking 1.5 mile an hour for the final 2 miles. It was horrible. The exact same foot pain I had in my prior attempt. But anyway, we get there. I think it's 11:30. They have my tent set up. Everything's good to go. I crawl into my tent. It's midnight. By the time I do all my little chores, change out of some wet socks and dirty wet clothes and put some Body Glide on, take some painkillers and proceed to go to sleep. What I didn't know that was keeping me awake this first night was B vitamins. That was a big mistake. B vitamins kind of make you alert and energized, and that was horrible. It was not counteracted by the Tylenol PM, so I was awake almost this entire time I laid there. So at 12:30, I hear an electric golf cart being started.
An electric golf cart?
It finally starts up, yeah.
Electric.
Okay, God, I'm still recovering, guys, forgive me. A gas powered, maybe it was gas powered, whatever. But it didn't start easy, whatever it was. And he drives us around his yard and starts picking up sticks and snapping the sticks at 12:30 at night, 50 yards, 70 yards away from my tent. I don't know if he's like preparing the next night's fire because he started one for us or what, but it was driving me nuts. And it went on for 20, 30 minutes. And then I hear him walking around in this really deep voice talking to his dog. Hey, Barney, come over here. Talking whatever his dog's name was. He had a couple dogs running around. And I could hear him doing this for like 10 or 15 minutes. And then he gets on his four-wheeler, which is gas-powered, by the way.
Okay.
And a normal sounding four-wheeler, and takes off and drives down the road a couple miles out of hearing range. I think I'm starting to doze off at this point. And then I hear more people walking around gathering up sticks and breaking sticks. I kid you not. 2:30 in the morning, he comes back on that four-wheeler. And I'm still wide awake sitting there.
You didn't yell like, quiet!
I should
Quiet
have.
now! I
Believe me,
need it!
I was about to. I was really close to, but how can you do that to a guy on his own property? I ended up getting less than 1 hour of sleep that night after a 60-mile day and knowing I had a 58-mile day the next day.
If you would have had your gun with you, you could just fire it up in the air a couple times. That'd shut them all up.
Probably.
Yeah.
That would have been a really good idea.
Yeah.
And his 2 dogs went out in the woods and started treeing a coon or something after that, too.
Oh,
I mean, it's just
great.
anything and everything that could have been wrong that first night did.
How's your cankles?
Cankles, okay, the left one is perfect. The right one, I have some kind of injury.
Holy
You
Moses.
probably aren't gonna be able to see that, but okay, so right here above my sock line, it was a big knot that had formed on day 3, maybe 2 or 3, I can't remember. And it started swelling up all around it. So somehow I injured this ligament right here, right above my ankle and below my shin. And it swelled all the way up to about here, all my foot. I had these great big piggy toes. I mean, my whole foot was swollen. It was disgusting, and it was hard to get that down. We iced it. We had some Epsom salts. I did Epsom salts bath once. You look like you got a good question over there.
No,
Okay.
that was just, yeah.
So that still hurts really bad. I've been treating it with some essential oils my mom gave me that help swelling and recovery of ligaments and tendons and things. I can pretty much walk normal. I'm just walking around really slow.
You mentioned that you had apple cider with you when you're.
Yeah.
Did you try? Because there's no saying that if you put cider on there, it really heals things.
Yeah. I never
Have
tried
you
it.
tried it yet?
I didn't try soaking it in cider. I mean,
So
that probably would have helped a lot, but I didn't have enough
Huh.
cider that I could have wasted on my
Never heard of that.
shin.
Maybe I'll try that.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind next time.
Oh, did you wear the topos or the ultras?
Ooh.
Or both? Like a
I
left
had-
topo or right ultra?
No, I didn't do that.
That's the secret.
I had 3 pairs of Ultra Olympus 4s that I wore 90% of the time. On the roads, I put on my Ultra Venture, Topo Ultra Venture 2s for one of the road runs on the Heidelberg March. And I had a pair of Topo Pursuits that are, man, it just feel really light and agile. Great for trail running. But I tried them later on in the week and they just felt too thin. My feet were really starting to hurt. It felt like I was walking on concrete, so I went back to the Olympus. I think that was the last day when I was running with Jordan there at the end. I was complaining about my Topo Pursuits hurting my feet, but those are still probably my favorite trail shoe right now for ultra races. But for long hauls like that, it was the Olympus 4s. Never got one blister. I had one little hot spot above the tongue, under the tongue of my right foot for 2 days. It went away. Nothing. I mean, my feet were perfect the whole time. So
Nice.
I'd say that was my strong suit on this one, is having healthy feet.
So that's interesting on the shoes. So you wonder now. I got to thinking when you were saying that. I wonder if like Jeff Gordon rolls into a pit stop on a NASCAR race and is like, tires now, the Firestones.
I'm never going to hear the end of this as long as I live.
These are the colonelisms, guys.
Yes.
The colonalisms.
All day long. If you guys only could have seen what was going on around here for 20 minutes before this live stream started.
Oh, it was just
I
a
There was
circus.
arguing and bickering.
I
Oh,
almost
you,
had to leave, guys. I
you
mean,
would have thought we hated each other.
the stress.
We were in a rush getting down here. I mean, 15 minutes before this live stream, I'm trying to set up lights and start a fire. Colonel didn't know how to start a fire right. It's just everything was going wrong.
It's going, isn't it?
Didn't Harold have to finish that off?
No,
Well, you
Oh,
gave me a
okay.
few pieces of
team
wood.
effort, man. Team effort.
Yeah, there you go. What
All right.
songs do you get stuck in your head while hiking? Anything?
Oh, yes, I had something stuck in my head, but I don't know what it was. If Leonidas or Chris or Jordan are on here, they could probably tell you. I don't know if any of those guys are watching, but man,
Leonidas, I saw him like something earlier, so yeah, he's here.
Gosh.
Hopefully he's still here. There's 38 people now.
Leonidas and Jordan, if you guys happen to be watching this, there was a song you were playing in the truck when I was running down the road, the Thunderstruck Road, when I ripped my shirt off because I was getting hot and I had to take my undershirt off. You guys were playing some awesome tunes in my truck.
It was Thunderstruck because he told me he
No,
was playing it.
I'm not talking about that when I was hiking
Oh.
with him. They were driving my truck, and it was a song I never heard. It was really hard rock.
Leonidas says greatest American hero theme song. Leonidas, greatest American hero.
That's what was playing when I ripped my shirt off, and I went, taking an air bath! I was running down the road.
Okay, okay, sure. Thanks, Leonidas.
Whatever that is, yeah, I don't know what that song was. But no, there was some
I can hear it
some
in my
goofy
head, yeah.
lyrics that I remember hearing at one
Believe
point.
it or not, you're walking on air. Is that how it goes? I think. Believe it or not, you're walking
Yeah,
on
I don't
air.
know.
Yeah, okay. Fred loves the colonalisms. Leonidas says, I think so. All right, I got it. Oh, good. All righty. What else you got, Jason?
We haven't talked about this tattoo issue yet.
Oh, yeah. There was.
I haven't seen Jacob Poucher on here yet. He's the one, didn't he bring that up? In the last live stream.
I think he may have.
That's another reason we got Harold, the Harry down
Jacob's here. I saw
Okay.
him comment. He said Jason Yo earlier.
here. Jeremy's got a couple. Jeremy. Here I call you Jeremy. Harry's got some tattoos, and I was going to pick his brain about tattoos and where he thinks I should get one. And what do you
It depends on if you want it seen all the time or if you want to be able to cover it up.
Yeah.
You know, I've got one up on my shoulder and I've got one down on my forearm. The one on my forearm I wanted to be seen all the time. So it's just something that you've got to decide, is this something I want to show off all the time, or I want to be able to put a t-shirt on and not be able to show it. So I don't recommend getting a neck tattoo or something like that, you know, but
I'm probably leaning more towards something I can cover up. So that would be shoulder,
T-shirt line.
you know, not even a calf, because I wear sharks.
don't do leg
No.
tattoos.
None at all, not even like a quad.
No.
Okay. So
Well, it's
probably
good to know.
right here is going to be it then.
Yeah.
So a
I
T-shirt
mean,
covers it.
what are you thinking?
The Sheltowee trace turtle. You know, I haven't figured it out yet, but
So-
I don't know if it's going to have the date or my time, or if it's just going to be the plain turtle. You know,
I'm thinking the turtle with at least the Roman numeral 3, since you've got all 3 categories.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can't put all those words on there: unsupported, supported, self-supported, and all my times.
We could do the whole sleeve. That's they call it a sleeve. You get the whole arm.
What do you
done.
guys think? I need some suggestions or recommendations on what would go along with the Sheltowee turtle to complete the tattoo.
And while we're on this subject, you know, I made the comment I would crowd fund the cost of this tattoo, and I'm going to throw it out here right now. If there's any tattoo artist in the Ohio, Kentucky, the auspices in the Sheltowee Trace area, we would love to use you to ink Jason.
And we'd film it.
I would love to film it while it happened. You know, it wouldn't be a live filming, but it would be definitely a video done. He could load on YouTube professionally later. So
I really think that a turtle would look great
That
right
would
on,
look
your,
good
on
there.
your forearm.
Man, but I don't wear many long sleeves unless it's cold out.
Something you're proud of, right? Something you're going to
Yeah, I
remember the
am.
rest of your life.
But
Yeah,
I also,
this is true.
I also got to take into account what my wife thinks too.
Yep.
I know she doesn't really
Well,
care for tattoos, so I got to take that into
she
account.
definitely gets some input on
Yeah,
location.
for sure.
And it's kind of funny though. I mean, the fastest
say?
guy on the trace gets the turtle, the slowest animal in the world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, 3 little turtles. Turtle time and date is what Fred Donaldson says. So Leonidas says, Jason kayaks shirtless, too much for that. So I don't know, we'll see. So nothing else question-wise is popping up. River King, Jason seems like a Taylor Swift kind of guy.
Oh my
my gosh, you just
kidding
gotta
me?
shake it off.
So, I got something here in my hands I want to tell you about real quick. These are little pieces of paper. There's 6 of them here. 3 of them are on sticky notes, and 4 of them are little pieces of loose leaf paper that are torn in strips. One of these were in each pocket of my shorts. So I took 6 pairs of shorts with me. And I didn't change every day. Some days, one day I'll wear a pair of shorts for 3 days. It's not like underwear. Shorts don't get dirty like underwear. I know, I see you over there.
Did you turn them inside out?
They can.
Yeah, someone told me you can wear them 4 times. Front, back, inside out, front, back.
So they say.
But anyway, these were scripture verses. So I'm not going to read them all, but I do want to read a couple of them here. Because I pulled these out of my shorts pocket when I was getting dressed the first morning. I'm like, what is this? And I pulled this piece of paper out, and it brought a tear to my eye, knowing that my wife took the time to write these verses out and put them in all my shorts. And maybe a couple of them might have been in shirts or socks. Yeah, they were in socks. So, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with all my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. I'm just going to read 3 of them real quick. Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Oh, that was a good one when you're deep in one of those hollers. In Psalm 121, 1-2. I will lift my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, and the Sheltowee Trace. And then, yeah, they were all good.
That's pretty cool, man.
So there was 6 of them total?
Yep, and that just really lifted me up every
Awesome.
morning, knowing my wife had taken the time to do that, made me think about her, and reminded me to spend time in prayer. And before I went out and did my thing every morning.
That is so awesome.
That was really good.
Very cool.
What else? We're about ready to wrap this up here soon.
We're at 8:40 right now.
Okay. You know what? The very first thing I meant to talk about before we even started was something that almost made the attempt not happen. So the day I was ready to drive down to Kentucky, I had to, the day I was leaving, I had to deliver pumpkins to Columbus. I'm a produce farmer. and we're wrapping up our season. I had pumpkin delivery to make to Columbus, Ohio. So I hopped on my box truck, 2 box trucks, so we had 2 loads. My wife was in one. And on the way back, gosh, I can't remember how this happened now. One of the, was it a tire blew out?
The truck died.
Yeah, anyway, it's a big long story. Anyway, I'm towing my wife home in one of our box trucks. And all of a sudden she starts veering off to the side of the road. And like, what in the world is she doing? She was laying on the horn the whole time and I didn't know it.
Here's if you guys can see, I don't know if this will come out. There it is. There's Jason on the ground with a very small fire extinguisher trying to put out that flaming wheel.
So we're 10 miles from home. I see her veering over off the side, so I finally pull over. My truck's on fire, as you just saw. Luckily, there was a little fire extinguisher in there. I keep squirting it and trying to just squirt a little bit at a time to put it out, and it will not go out. I think it's because there was a brake line hose leak, and it was an oil fire. So all of a sudden, my fire extinguisher was about out, so I get on the horn and call 911. But I'm 20 miles from any town. They finally make it there, but if I had not had a creek with cattails off of the side of the ditch and a corn tub to scoop 2 cups at a time, I made 40 trips back and forth. I'm running it with 2 cups at a time, splashing it on my tire, and I was able to keep it down, but then the tire started catching on fire. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hearing it starting to hiss and sizzle. And I'm still trying to throw water on there, but I'm trying to stay back at the same time, and I threw the last tub on there, start to stand back, boom, it blows up, and a chunk of rubber comes and hits me. And if that thing would have hit me in the eye, it probably would have ruined my whole attempt. I wouldn't have known to continue to go down on south and run this FKT. But yeah, the fire truck finally made it. They put it all out and had to get a tow truck to tow it home. But yeah, that was a whole nother story that almost prevented this FKT.
Wow. So when it comes to fire extinguishers, size matters.
That's right. So I guess the moral of the story is, for me, is that I think all these problems and issues like that I had leading up to this, because there was other things. I just feel like the Lord orchestrated all these things for a purpose, to maybe have me go down at a later time than I did. I don't know. But yeah, it all worked out in the end. And originally I thought maybe I wasn't supposed to do this. This was his sign to tell me, you don't need to be down there doing this again. But yeah, everything worked out in the end, and
Awesome.
very glad it did.
Cool.
Are we ready to wrap this up?
It looks like it.
Yep.
Comments are slowing down.
Wrapping it up with one final thing. I should have wrote down this fella's name. It was a comment from a subscriber, I think, on the video I posted recently that was from my 2021 unsupported documentary. It was a quote from Roosevelt, and it was so fitting for what I was getting ready to do, or what I went through. Roosevelt had lots of awesome quotes. I was looking them up the other day, but this one was probably one of my favorite. Far better is it to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy nor suffer much, because they live in a gray twilight that knows not victory nor defeat. That just was perfect for me, because I've been checkered by failure lately with those 2 100-milers that I couldn't conquer. And if you don't ever try, you'll never know if you can succeed, you know.
Well, that's one thing you always got to remember is if you want a good quote, you go to Roosevelt. If you want a great joke, you go to Reagan.
Hey, really? I'll remember that.
And that was another colonelism.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, here we are, 8:45.
Yep.
Not a lot of questions coming in
Okay.
right now. Yep.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up now. Guys, I really appreciate you coming on here and joining us for another live stream. I really enjoy doing these. I'll probably make it a regular thing.
It's pretty fun.
If you guys have any suggestions of where you want to see us do our next live stream, throw it out there. Love to get some input from you guys.
Yeah, on location stuff is fun.
Yeah.
So
We might even dress up for the next one. The next live stream, I might be an Amish man and he might be Colonel Sanders.
That's a possibility. Maybe after Halloween we could get some 50% off costumes.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Perfect.
So for Thanksgiving, we'll dress up.
I like that. All righty. Well, I want to thank to Harry and the Colonel for joining me for this live stream.
Woohoo!
This was fun. I always enjoy talking about my FKTs. Glad it's over. It feels so good to be home. And how do you put it? Re-entered back into society?
Yeah, you reintroduced back into society.
I've been reintroduced back into society and enjoying the comforts of a normal life with a home and a bed, a refrigerator, and just everything.
You've been discharged from the Sheltowee trace.
That was good, man. Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be some funny stuff in this.
Reba as the Colonel, David Ty, like Reba McEntire. I mean, I've always loved her. That'd be great. I'd dress up as Reba.
Okay. Sounds good. Alrighty, guys. That's it for tonight. Unless we got another question coming in. I keep seeing them rolling in here.
A lot of comments.
Okay.
You know, a lot of great stuff. You know, great comments. No questions popping up on my end here. I don't know if there's a delay between your phone and my phone.
There might be.
So just a lot of everybody's saying congratulations and all that. So yeah, great deal.
Everything. I mean, we had perfect weather. We had a little bit of rain spitting on us from time to time. No traffic issues, no accidents, slide-offs. We had the No Business 100 Ultra, 100-mile race going on when we were down there. I thought I was going to be through there before they started their race, but they had started. Luckily, they were going counterclockwise, so we got spit onto their course, their section of the race, maybe when they were 60 miles in, and we were probably towards the latter part of their pack, so they were some pretty more slow runners. We were able to actually pass some, so that actually gave me some motivation, seeing some 100-milers up ahead, because when you see people ahead of you, it makes you want to go a little faster, try a little harder. I could have barely reined Leonidas in, man. He was like trying to catch them all. But yeah, we passed a couple 100-milers, got to talk to a couple of them. Even got to enjoy some of their aid stations. That was great. And Jordan would go ahead of me and set these aid stations up when I was running with Leonidas. And he would talk to all the crew at these aid stations and let them know that I was coming in. I even got to partake in some of their food and sit around their campfire. So that was really cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, everything. It almost really couldn't have went better, except for my pain issues. And you're always going to have something, you know. It's never going to go perfect. So no complaints here. I'm really happy it all turned out well.
Good.
Thank you everyone so much for watching and joining in on our live chat tonight. I really appreciate you all. And we will see you again real soon in the next live stream. Oh gosh! Good night.
Perfect.